Hey, I want to talk about evil. The number one thing that people say that God doesn't exist is evil in this world. So let's first talk about what is evil, because if there is not a standard of good beyond ourselves, how can we say that anything is evil? So it would just be a matter of opinion. Murder, genocide, torture, rape, that would all just be a matter of opinion if it's good or bad, unless there's a standard beyond ourselves that tells us what's good or bad. So does evil disprove God? God is the standard of good. Evil requires good to exist. So C.S. Lewis, who was an atheist, actually, he saw all the atrocities in the genocide and World War, and so he actually came to know the Lord. And this quote from him is amazing. He said, "My argument against God was that the universe seemed so cruel and unjust. But how had I got this idea of just and unjust? A man does not call a line crooked unless he has some idea of a straight line. So evil does not exist without God. The crooked line does not exist without the standard of the straight line." Okay, so now that we've established there is a God who sets objective morality. So why evil? What's the purpose of evil? How could this good, loving God allow all this evil? Why doesn't God stop all the evil? Romans 3:10 says, "There is no one righteous, not even one." So if God were to put an end to all the evil, he would have to put an end to you, and he would have to put an end to me. So let's keep going. Love is the highest standard in the universe. God is love. 1 John 4:8 says God is love. So if love is the highest standard in the universe, the only way we can love is with free will. God doesn't want us to be a bunch of robots, because a robot can't love. If you have kids, you can't say, "You're going to love me, you're going to love me." That's not love. Love is when your child runs up to you and throws their arms around you and says, "I love you, mommy." That's love. God had to give us free will. And that free will, unfortunately, not everybody chooses to follow the straight line. I love this quote. God is responsible for the fact of freedom, but we are responsible for the acts of freedom. So why are people in hell? Does God just send people to hell arbitrarily? Let's talk about God. He is infinitely just, so he can't allow injustice to go unpunished. The only way that God could remain infinitely just and not punish us is if he punishes an innocent substitute in our place. And that innocent substitute could have only been Jesus, because he's the only man who ever walked this earth that is perfect. Because Jesus was God come to earth for us. He punished sin and allowed us to go unpunished. The word justified means just if I'd never sinned, because Jesus took that punishment of sin in our place. So how does God send people to hell? If people don't accept Jesus, God is so loving that he's going to give them what they want. He will not force them into heaven. Like we cannot force somebody to love us. If you've ever wanted to date somebody and you keep asking and asking, not us, because, hopefully the girls get asked, but that's another subject. You can't force somebody to love you. Love must be freely given. So people in hell chose to go to hell because they did not want Jesus. God gives them what they want. So yes, there's evil in this world, but God is loving and he made a way. He made a way, and that way is Jesus. And I do hope you go back and look at some of my other videos so you can see how do we accept Jesus into our hearts. You just believe that he was that substitute, that he came for us, that he loves us. You believe and you call on the name of the Lord, and you will be saved.